Hello, you beautiful kids. How are you? Hello, Cosmos. Can you go back, please? Go back. That's the girls. Yes. Hello, Stewie. I know. Hank, what manners? Manners. Kate Moss. Manners.
Penny Scott is teaching her free-range pigs good manners.
You stop it. Right. Waiting. Good girl. Wait. It's for security more than anything, because if I'm out here by myself feeding, which often I am, and if they were a bit rough and disrespectful towards me, if I fell over, I could be eaten. Seriously, that would just be a mob mentality, and I'm probably quite toasty. But if they're well-behaved, they're confident and respectful, and that's the most important thing.
After a mixed career as a naturopath, academic and businesswoman, Penny Scott is now developing a paddock pork eco-farm with an emphasis on ethical, sustainable production.
Good girl.
And why pigs? What is it that, attracts you to them?
I shouldn't say flavour first, but that is something important. Couple of reasons. I love their personalities. They're actually very confident, curious animals, and I like that. Also because I want to draw a distinction between how 99% of Australia's pork is grown in sheds. They don't see the wind, they don't feel the wind or the sun or the rain. They live in squalid conditions, similar to humans living in a refugee camp. They get bored, they bite, it's just a revolting situation. So I want people to understand the difference. And that's the main... Well, no, I love pigs. It comes back to, I love pigs.
She also loves Alan Reid. He retired from a long career in journalism to join her at Springview near Wagga Wagga and help turn its 70 hectares into a viable free-range farm.
It wasn't really occupied as a property for many years. It's, I wouldn't say neglected, but it needs a lot of work. I did all my farming and that sort of work in my teenage years and got into journalism, and now I'm sort of recycling myself, you might say, and I'm enjoying it. It's good fun, and I'm starting to build myself back up again to handle a crowbar and a shovel, but overall it's interesting.
You're fit, but you're not a young fella, like it's pretty hard yakka.
Oh, well, as I say to people, I turned 35, 37 years ago, and that's where I'm at. So it is hard yakka, and, some days I come in and I can't even lift my whiskey to have a drink. I just flake.
Sit. Good boy. You are a beautifully patient pig.
Penny Scott is determined to prove that small enterprises can be profitable in what she calls the creative food economy.
You remember your beautiful manners? Go back, please. Go back, please. Good boys, good girls. So the ultimate aim is to have 6 sows, doing 1.5 litres a year, and we sell the meat at $25 a kilo. And people do not even bat an eyelid at paying that. When they understand that the animals are fed twice a day, they're looked after really well, they've got happy lives, people want that. But we don't have enough suppliers yet.
Oh my goodness, look at everybody! This is so exciting. Thank you so much for coming to the first birthday of Eat Local Thursday. Let's go shopping.
Last year, Penny Scott started Wagga's Eat Local Thursday market.
To make a point of difference from what is available at supermarkets, we do have points of difference, and they are that there are no chemicals used in the production of the food. We have the growers who bring the raw materials here, and then we have the makers who then do the preserves and the dressings, the condiments and things. And if they're going to be here, they have to buy 70% of their products from our existing growers. So we're keeping that closed economic loop as tight as possible. The focus of Eat Local Thursday is to enable farmers to become prosperous. And we have it weekly, so that they have regular trading opportunities, which is more reliable cash flow. And for any business to be successful, you need regular cash flow.
There you go, $14 altogether, thank you.
Wayne and Mendy Skein sell more than 60% of their fruit at markets like Eat Local Thursday. If they just relied on selling to Australia's major supermarkets, most of their produce would be rejected.
It hasn't got to be perfect. It's just got to taste good. And that's what we try to do. We try to grow our fruit for the farmers' markets, what the consumer wants. And we've been doing it now for quite a few years, so we know what they want and we know how ripe the fruit must be for them to enjoy it.
Biscayne Zone a 30-hectare orchard at Batlow, growing mostly apples and some stone fruit. Until they started selling at markets, they were struggling to meet the standards required by the local cooperative for the big supermarkets.
You have to grow a perfect apple to make money, and it's pretty hard to grow a perfect apple under the current conditions. If it's not the heat, it's the drought, it's Mother Nature, it's wind, it's hail, it's flying foxes. So yeah, it's pretty hard. We try to sell about 60% of the fruit we grow ourselves, and the other 40% goes to the Batlow Fruit Co-op, which is a great facility, and they do a great job. But the consumer demand is it needs to be a perfect apple, whereas when we sell it ourselves, the apple hasn't got to be picture perfect. It can be a little bit imperfect.
About 18 months ago, the Skeins started juicing the apples they didn't sell at the markets. Their cold-pressed juices are now their biggest money earner.
We just wanted another outlet of our wastage because we were throwing a lot of apples out that we couldn't sell at the markets, and we wanted to do something else with it. The apple juice that we would supply to other juice makers, you would get juice back that you could, leave on the shelf for about 12 months. Also, that I wasn't very happy with. I wanted something a bit more fresh, a bit more healthy, and that's how we started to do the cold press.
The juices wouldn't be sold in supermarkets because they're unpasteurised and have a limited shelf life.
People don't seem to mind. I tell everyone honestly that it needs to be in the fridge, you need to drink it really quickly. A lot of people don't seem to have a problem with that.
This is the apple and ginger juice.
Thank you.
Wow, that is the best juice I've ever had.
Good, thank you.
That is beautiful. I think I'll buy some.
The Skeins say it's not just about the juice or the fruit they sell. What keeps many customers coming back is a sense of connection.
They like to know where you're from and what you're doing, and they like the aspect of knowing where their food comes from and know what you do.
Hi, how are you? $4.50, thank you.
And that extends beyond the apple shed. Their customers are intrigued about how the couple met.
Travelling around Australia as a backpacker from the Netherlands, and she came to Batlow for a couple of weeks to work just to earn a bit of extra money. And she started working for me, and before we knew it, we were in love and married and started a family.
So lamb sausages, these ones have some rosemary and garlic chive in them. And we put all the meat from a whole lamb into the sausages, so not just sort of the leftover bits, so that's why they're quite meaty.
David Bray and Louise Freckleton also give the added value of a personal story to their prime lamb cuts and sausages. They reckon a healthy environment is key to a healthy bottom line.
Well, I bring them along because it's quite amazing. You can see in your bird's nest your whole property. There's a little bit of the wool from our sheep.
Yeah, people who turn up every week and ask for sausages or ask for their favourite cut and stop for a chat. And that's been fantastic as well. It's been a great way to meet the community and talk to people about food and our production systems and our conservation area.
2/3 of their farm at Mount Adra in the Eastern Riverina is protected under a conservation covenant. It was the big attraction when they bought Highfield 2 years ago.
And we kind of knew the area because we've been bushwalking a lot in the area. And we just had enough of Sydney, so it was getting away from Sydney, getting to the bush where we'd always wanted to be. And then the farming side of things sort of followed on after that.
You know, we're not 5 generations of farmers with freckly kids. Our distinguishing feature is that we are combining farming with conservation, and people are interested in that as a concept.
Neither of the pair had any prior experience as farmers, but they're fast learners.
Well, we think that handling our stock with low stress makes the meat better quality, and certainly it also adds to their lives when we don't have to chase them with dogs or bikes to move them. We can walk them quietly and calmly in order to do the job. So we think that's a better way of doing it. Besides which, they're lambing at the moment, and the girls are very heavy, and there's lots of little lambs, and if we move them quietly, they stay mothered up with their mothers. So we think that's just a less stressful way to live.
David Bray is still working as a sociology lecturer at Sydney University, but hopes to eventually farm full-time. The Eat Local Thursday market and another local farmers market at Tumut are central to their business plan.
We're trying to take it sort of step by step, and because we're beginners, we're learning a lot of new stuff. The kind of business model we're looking at is selling through farmers markets. So we're sort of keeping control of the whole production line. So cutting out middlemen, middle people, so we can make then a lot more per sheep, per lamb, than we would if we were just selling them to the sale yard.
Very often sheep farmers only get about $5 a kilo carcass for their sheep. We're getting a lot more than that because we don't have to sell to supermarkets, or the value is retained with us, and so it allows us to price set rather than price take.
In its first 12 months, the Eat Local Thursday market turned over more than $1 million.
That's gone back into about 10 or 11 smaller rural communities around the Riverina and just into Victoria. So that's what it's about. Those smaller economies are having the vibrancy of the flow-on effects of the money that the traders here take home and then spend in their local community.
Thank you everybody for coming today to Eat Local Thursday. We are celebrating the 1-year birthday. It is so exciting.
Penny Scott says Eat Local is a concept that can help small farmers get a better share of the retail cake by becoming price setters rather than price takers.
Are you a retail farmer or are you a price taker farmer? It's a big difference about if you set your price as opposed to being paid what somebody thinks it's worth at the moment. Big difference in the business model. And if we want prosperous farmers, they have to change their business model.
When are these babies going to arrive? Hello, Danny. Hello.
We have a ready-made captive audience who want our tucker, and we can't keep up with the supply. That's why we've got to increase the number of sows and improve the continuity of litters.
Penny Scott hopes the success of Eat Local Thursday will inspire other small farmers around Australia to start their own local markets and build the creative food economy.
Oh, yes. Time for a scratch.
Some say, oh, you're never going to get all the market. And I thought, I don't want all the market. If 10% of Australia's population who are in that creative food economy can actually get what they want, we have a very, very viable business, not just for us, but for the creative farming economy.
Here we go, we have a delicious array this morning.
Any town that has Coles, Woolworths and Aldi is fair game. So there's another alternative. I'm not going to try and change the status quo, but what we can do is provide an alternative to what dominates retail food sales now.
That's the program. Don't forget our regular Landline every Sunday on ABC at noon. And of course, you can also follow the team on Twitter and Facebook. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.